Hello, my name is Kaveh Jahanshahi, one of the PGCert candidates as part of the Future Leadership Scheme in Civil Service Program. Today I am presenting my leadership style through a story embodied my approach. First, I will give a brief introduction about myself, my career history, and my role at ON State Science Campus, and a background to a recent program called Mobility Program that I've been leading. I would then explain how my values and leadership style can be reflected in the way I led that program. Then I concluded by discussing the outcomes of the program, but also the feedbacks of my performance from my team and wider stakeholders. So in terms of my career history, I have been working in a diverse area, ranging from consultancies, academia, and most recently as a civil servant. This has put me in a unique position, enabling me to understand better the requirements of a stakeholder and different languages adopted by them in different business areas. This has also exposed me to a wide range of personas, from analytical and experimental to more practical and those with a strong emotional intelligence and relationship abilities or preferences. Also, my diverse background helps me to see the bigger picture and understand needs and requirements of the stakeholders. Finally, over my career, I have gained technical respect in my field, i.e. data science campus and transport modeling, which helps me lead a highly technical team through winning their respect. I have many papers with over 150 citations, plus track record of leading influential and strategic models, such as the National Transport Model for the Department for Transport. Honest Data Science Campus is established in 2017 to help enhancing capability and capacity in data science across ONS and cross-government departments. Since being promoted to a grade 6, I am one of the lead data scientists at ONS Data Science Campus, in charge of 3 squads of data scientists called Mobility, Net Zero, and Health. Over the pandemic, the health was called the COVID-19. Today, I would like to focus on mobility program as an example of my leadership style. Since being established, I had a team of 4 direct reports and 10 people in total in the squad. Our main mission was to promote data science for geospatial and mobility analysis. This involved understanding gaps and requirements, stakeholder mapping, and engaging and designing and innovative approaches to bridge those gaps and response to research questions and actual practical issues. So in terms of my leadership style, I consider that as being transformational leadership. The 4 major areas in theories of transformational leadership presented by Bass and prior to him are idealized influences or charismatic leadership, inspirational motivation, intellectual stimulation, and individualized consideration. I explain my style with respect to each of these elements in the intern. So in terms of individual influences, I naturally have some of the main characteristics of so-called charismatic leader. It should be noted though that there are a wide range of studies on charismatic leader and their characteristics, and it might be different in different circumstances. Here I'm referring to the major ones agreed by many studies but summarized well by Nordhaus in his 2021 paper. My wide career background has helped me to develop intelligence and self-confidence in my field and communicating my ideas with experts and non-experts. I am also known as being determined in gaining results and conducting impactful work with a strong value set for being fair and honest, but also sensitive in ensuring that my team are utilizing taxpayer money basically and being able to develop projects with the long-term impact. In Nordhaus classification, though, my main shortcoming is in the area of sociability. And that is, although I'm an extrovert, but I tend to spend more time in discussing the technical matters and my interest on that, natural interest on that, than working with people, relationship, and trying to understand their personalized and individualized difficulties. In the next slide, I further refer to my current Myers-Briggs test. which has identified my personal type as ENTP, which is extrovert, intuition, thinking, and perceiving. ENTP people are typically enthusiastic innovators who can see the opportunities and new theories and wish to try new way of doing things. That's exactly explaining the characteristic. So further in-depth analysis on the intuition part, however, revealed that although I am naturally comfortable with exploring and seeing the big picture, but I can also be realistic and moving to the sensing area and understand the vision, but also the roadmaps to get to those vision and working with my analytical team as a result. In terms of thinking versus feeling, I have a strong tendency to be a logical character, questioning and critical on approaches, with a strong need to know the reasons for decisions. This, though helpful for a charismatic leader, but also reflect that I need to work more on my emotional side, emotional intelligence side, and exploration, voice, adaptation to understand others' point of view. For mobility program, I started with setting a challenging and overarching vision, being a center of excellence for fusing large data sets with smaller data. I then that communicate that vision with my team and arrange many workshops for brainstorming and forming a roadmap to get to that vision. This involves horizon scanning, bringing stakeholder on board, and eventually through this exercise, we find out that the census travel to work currently would have a problem because it's collected over the pandemic, and we are sitting well to develop a project to cover that gap. That become very exciting for my team because they could have seen the influence this work could have had. For mobility program, I started with setting a challenging and overarching vision, as I explained. But also, I start working with my team and understand what motivates them. So I did a motivational exercise, did some motivational exercise to understand that the main factors that motivates my team, given my team formation of technical people with a strong coding and data science background, it was not surprising to learn that technical challenges and learning sort of learning new things motivates them more than even financial gains. My team are from a wide range of background, but mainly engineering, computer science, physics, and maths, but lack a domain knowledge in the social science and urban modeling needed for the travel to work program. Realizing that it would be highly stimulating for my team to apply data science techniques in which my team are expert in on a new domain, i.e. social science and mobility. I try to work closely with them to cover the domain knowledge gap as much as possible. That involves setting up one-to-one technical sessions and coaching sessions with my team, forming reading group and technical meetings, and leveraging my academics and consultant contacts to set up influential talks and inspirational talk by experts in the field. I also form an expert panel to review and comment on our work. This has proved to be very successful in a way that although many people in other squad decided to leave after some time, that was actually in our setting possible to move from one squad to other within 6 months of working in one. But none of the people in my team decided to leave mobility squad. In addition, I kept my one-to-ones alive and tried to keep the line of communication open, but as discussed before, making relation is not one of my strengths. Here you can see my voice print results showing a strong tendency to use advocating and articulating voices as opposed to evaluation and understanding where people come from type things. So that's the area that I need to work further on. So in conclusion, I can say that the project of the travel to work successfully delivers a great outcome. The first one from the data science campus that actually published on the ONS website with high impact, covering the gaps from the census problem in 2021. The team has been very excited about their achievement and are eager to continue developing further versions of it with more detail. For my recent end of year review discussion, my line manager sets an anonymized 360 feedback as well. She was surprised that all my direct reports has been supportive of my line manager approach and consider me as being very supportive to them. Also, my technical abilities are valued by many within and outside the team. Room for development, however, was more on trying to do more concise communication and use more of the exploratory voices, but also coaching my G7s to be a leader themselves and moving towards a sort of highly directive and highly supportive approach to more delegating the work so that I can focus on communicating to the work to a SLT and ensuring that it would bringing bigger impacts. Thank you very much for your attention.